On Monday, we did some real journalism. We drove down to a local courthouse at Moss Vale on the New South Wales Southern Highlands, where a citizen journalist and corruption whistleblower, Adam Greenwood, was up against the New South Wales police force. At the heart of the case, a matter which has dragged on for almost 5 years and even involved terrorism police, is a claim that Greenwood harassed the police. He's charged with criminal harassment for sending a handful of emails to police about corruption on the local council. These big, burly police officers claim that they had been criminally harassed by 8 emails in which Greenwood made demands for them to act on local council corruption. We can only speculate as to the connections between the police and the local business people on the Wingecarribee Council. The point is overkill. Just as with Julian Assange, just like with David McBride, just like Richard Boyle, persecution of people doing the right thing, whistleblowers. The Greenwood case is a blight on the administration of justice in this country, while the police still dither over the investigation of the bomb threat in Botany against Sydney man Theo for flying a Palestinian flag on his house. 6 weeks now they've been dithering. Where were the counter-terrorism police in the Theo matter? It's a junior local constable has been put onto it, and it's a clear act of terrorism, unlike Adam Greenwood's situation. Yet they were hauled in, the police, over a local corruption matter. It's redolent of the Friendly Geordies prosecution, where the New South Wales Fixated Persons Unit, the terror police, raided the home of Jordan's 21-year-old producer, Christo Lanka, for allegedly stalking and intimidating John Barilaro, the former New South Wales Premier. Not political at all, that one. And the latest twist in the Greenwood case comes in a week where the world's #1 whistleblower, Julian Assange, is appealing extradition so that he doesn't have to rot in jail in the US. And David McBride faces in 2 weeks a life sentence for blowing the whistle on war crimes too. What had Julian Assange done? He'd exposed US war crimes, a huge act of public interest. What had David McBride done? Petitioned all the right legal channels before going public, a whistleblower, Australian war crimes in Afghanistan. What has Greenwood done? Complained to the police about corruption. Meanwhile, Anthony Watson, the Lend-Lease whistleblower, has had to mortgage his house to fight unfair dismissal claims, doing the right thing, blowing the whistle to the ATO and exposing $1 billion tax fraud by Lend-Lease. And the ATO's even moving on it. They've said his position is correct, without naming him, because they're notoriously secret at the ATO, but they have put out a ruling, and they are in audit discussions, investigations with Lend-Lease. $260 million. And Lend-Lease has even recognised themselves that there's something here because they put a contingent liability in their accounts a few days ago. Watson got it right, and he has suffered for being a whistleblower. Will anybody ever do the right thing again, given what happens to whistleblowers? And on the world stage, meanwhile, 52 countries are fighting in the International Court of Justice against genocide, and Australia is not among them, preferring instead to strongly oppose the Putin genocide in Ukraine, which compared to Israel's is genocide light, indeed preferring instead to continue to finance Israeli weapons. What has happened to the administration of justice in Australia? How could successive governments be so feeble? How could they get it so wrong? The Greenwood case, which we'll cover on the website in due course, is ominous for regional reporters and independent journalism. Anybody, really. And it's historic. On Monday, he managed to have the magistrate recused for potential conflict of interest. There was nothing wrong with him. He just decided to recuse himself because the case had been made that there was a conflict there because he had been a police prosecutor. This is the second recusal in the Greenwood matter. Have there ever been 2 magistrates recused from the same matter in the history of the New South Wales justice system? Almost certainly not in such a trifling matter as Greenwood's, an utter squandering of public resources, a case over a few emails complaining. Here's another first in the history of New South Wales police force. Has any journalist ever been charged for carrying out their role as a journalist. They took his phone. That was part of the bail conditions. Those are accused terrorists. That's sort of bail condition, really. They even stopped him from plying his trade as a journalist. Restraint on trade. Onerous bail conditions over this trifling matter. Has any journalist ever been tried, moreover, for assaulting a police officer by way of harassment and intimidation on email? It's ridiculous. It's comical. Indeed, the legislation the police are relying on to convict Greenwood was enacted in response to the acts of terrorism following the siege at the Lindt Cafe in 2017. As a journalist, he was arrested as a terrorist by the terrorism squad after exposing corruption claims within the New South Wales police force. Stay tuned for all this because we'll cover it in more depth. It's a serious matter of public interest, pinging journalists for this kind of thing, for doing their job. And if you've got a problem with this, please email me and you can vent whatever you like. And be assured that I will not sue you for criminal harassment over an email. Thank you for your support. Please like, share, comment in the space below.